Hello, good morning. Welcome to this nighttime taste challenge. I have two 40% alcohol Canadian blended whiskeys with no age statement. Forgot to put the alcohol level. Okay, they're both bottled in the United States. This is Harwood Canadian. There's a pretty etching of a duck on the label. What a light red, but not pink, uh, maple leaf, as you see on many Canadian brands. An exceptional premium flavor. Okay, a product of Canada, Canadian whiskey, a blend. Yeah, well, we get it. Imported and bottled by Duncan Harwood Distillers Company, Bardstown, Kentucky. But you see, I put the link below, and the link is Heaven Hill. All right, not Duncan Harwood. Little quick information about this. There was a company called Duncan Harwood, and their distillery was in Vancouver, British Columbia, Vancouver, and it was huge. And it was a big brand back in the 1930s and 40s. And then something happened where one of their officials, like their CEO, got arrested and prosecuted for tax fraud, tax evasion, tax fraud, and then the whole company went out of business. It was some kind of problem. Obviously, they were gone, and I think that the property where the distillery was is something else today. I don't even think the buildings are there. They might be. Sometimes they'll turn those into apartments or something. Then all of a sudden in 1969, Seagram's came out with a product called Harwood, not Harwoods. Now this was back in the 1950s, 40s, 30s. It was called Harwoods, apostrophe S, because it belonged to Duncan Harwood. But when Seagram's came out with theirs in 1969, they just simply called it Harwood, no apostrophe S. Oh, it's aged 6 months. So there is an age. 36 months. Sorry, 36 months. There is an age statement, 3-year age. Okay, so looked like it was a different recipe and everything when they took it over. But what they probably did was waited till the trademark expired and then went into public domain, and then they took it over and had it registered because okay, let's put age 3 years. Aged 3 years. Because it's kind of hard to protect a trademark when your company doesn't exist, right? Can't protect something if you don't exist. So that's what happened. The original company went bye-bye in like around 1953, and then they just waited it out. And then when the trademark came available, they took it over. And I saw a lot of magazine ads saying Harwood is back. Well, back in a sense. Not really back, but back the brand. So probably never was much of a seller. They sold it to Heaven Hill in 1989. I got that straight from the Heaven Hill website. I know that for sure. 1989. I put the link below. This is the big plastic handle bottle, $14.99. That's what I paid, $14.99. Now, about a month later, I found the glass bottle. 750 milliliter glass, which I would have preferred the glass, but I'm not repurchasing it for that reason. So, and the glass was a decent price, it wasn't high, expensive or anything. All right, so that's a very inexpensive Canadian whiskey, $14.99. And you would think it's going to be shabby and nasty, but it's not. It's not shabby and it's not nasty. They don't say anything about coloring or flavoring added, although Canadian whiskey is not required to tell you if they have coloring or flavoring added. That's an option. They can tell you it has it, or they can not tell you. So whether it has or not, I don't know. It doesn't appear to, but I could be wrong. Now this one says Premium Canadian Lake. It's also got maple leaves on it. It's got the same exact label as Canadian Leaf, which, just like Canadian Lake, is bottled at Oak Park Distillery in Maryland, Baltimore County, Maryland. Now, I think the actual name is Majestic Distilling, but the Sazerac likes to use a lot of alias names. Sometimes they'll put their name on the bottle, bottled by Sazerac, but oftentimes they'll use names like Oak Park Distilling, Majestic Distilling, County Line Distillers, the Founders Company, Legacy Distilling Company, IWA Distilling Company. It's all Sazerac, but they use these, what they call, the U.S. government calls it an assumed name, As long as they register it with the government, they don't care. They could have 1,000 names. So there's the lion wearing a crown for King Charles III, King of Canada, holding up a maple leaf. Yesterday was Commonwealth Day, which means nothing in the United States. The only reason I knew about it is because it was in my calendar book. And there was a slight news report about it on the internet. And it might have been on CBS Even News, seconds. So I started going to the royal family website, Canada websites, and they were talking all about this big deal. Commonwealth Day, previously known as Empire Day, but they changed. But starting in 1959, they celebrated it as Commonwealth Day. Okay, Harwood. Got to get my labels correct. I don't think this is going to be much of a challenge because even though this one was $15.99, still in stock at Total Wine and More and other stores, it's not as good as Harwood. And I think Harwood's going to whip it right now. And that's going to put me at 8 wins and 2 losses. That'll be the 10th challenge. And I'll be very happy with 8 and 2. 4 wins for every 1 loss. And I don't expect to lose again because I think that Canadian Lake, same label, get it confused. I've had both. I think Canadian Lake has a obvious flavored taste. You can taste what I think is vanilla. They might be using almond extract or pecan extract. This I don't know. But it's some kind of natural flavors, plural, see, plural. So if it's vanilla, it's not just vanilla. Flavors, plural. I don't hate the flavor. Actually, I kind of like the flavor, but I don't think it's really proper. I mean, it doesn't, to me, taste like it ought to taste. All right, so the Canadian Lake is a little lighter, but they're both pretty light gold, amber gold. White label, basically. I like the Harwood's label better with the etching of the duck out in the woods. What type of animal it is, I don't know. Some type of duck. Don't they have loons up there? That's on their dollar bill, their dollar coin. That's right. They don't make dollar bills. They don't make the paper. They make dollar coins. That's why dollar coins don't move in the United States, because people rather just have a cloth bill they could keep in the wallet. You never see people using dollar coins around here, but in Canada they got dollars, they call loonies, and they got $2 coins called toonies. Loonies and toonies. I have a few of those somewhere in my collection. Welcome back, Ron, says Wesley S. Thymer. I might get myself a 24-ounce Dogfish Head 60-minute today. That's a good choice. I want to find that new beer hug from Goose Island. It's called Big Mango Beer Hug. I mean, I know it's going to taste like mango. And it's going to be sugary sweet. And it's not going to have enough bitterness. And it's going to be a booze bomb at 9.9%. I get it. Somebody brought this up on my comments and he nailed it. I think he nailed it. He said, oh, you know what these things are? He said, they're today's malt liquors, high gravity malt liquors. He said back in the 90s, they had the Hurricane high gravity, the Colt 45 high gravity, 8.5%. And people would buy those 24-ounce cans and get loaded. He said, but now The beer companies know that people prefer sugary sweet stuff. So they got these sugary sweet India, so-called India pale ales. If you look at the can carefully, it usually says ale with natural flavors. Ale doesn't have to age as long as a lager. So theoretically, I guess at least it's cheaper to produce. Uh, if they're adding mango flavoring, that's what you're going to taste. And it's 9.9. And they come in those huge 19.2 ounce stovepipe cans. They call them stovepipes. If you drink a whole stovepipe, 9.9, wow, you are going to know it. And I thought about it. I said, you got it. That's it. Now you see in the high gravity lagers, your Hurricane high gravity, your Colt 45 high gravity, Schlitz high gravity lager, the Gold Bull. You're seeing those fade away because they are lagers. They're not flavored. All right, so they got to age them, like 28 days or longer in an aging tank, and they don't mask anything. They won't mask any weird flavors. And I'm not saying the flavors are weird. They're just harsh, They're harsh. They're like, oh. And you say even the bums would rather drink something pineapple or grape flavor. Well, yeah, they know that. So that's why all of these things are on the market: grape, strawberry, pineapple, and is it real high quality? Just look at the price for those stovepipes. The price is usually kind of low, even in today's money. There's your answer. Steel Reserve, they still make it, but look what people are buying. The Steel Reserve Alloy Series at all the flavors, 8%. Call me a lightweight, but I don't drink beer higher than 8%. I think Bud Light Platinum is the perfect mix of not too heavy and not too light alcohol. I can go along with that. I mean, if I do that beer hug, big mango, whatever it's called, I'm going to try to drink it over like 5 hours because it's just too much. It's too much. And they sort of make you feel kind of sick, all that sugar. And it's, not only is it too much alcohol, then you start feeling ill. Like you took medicine and it made you feel bad. It's like, nah, I don't need that in my life. I like to taste them just to do it. But you know what? But then you almost could say, what's the point of doing the video? You know what it's going to taste like. Right. No matter what the flavor is, you know what it's going to taste like. I mean, they'll probably come out with Goose Island Blue Raz beer hug pretty soon. That's where they've gone to. So they used to be a really credible craft beer company. I know, but they're going to run after the money. It's not even owned by them anymore. It's owned by Anheuser-Busch since 2011. They still make high hat craft beer every year. In November, they come out with the Goose Island Bourbon County Stout. But then that's all flavors now: macaroons and creme brulee and bananas Foster. I mean, that's all funny bunny stuff too. And I've tried some of the flavors, and it's like, it's not that good. Honestly, I mean, it's at a high level, but it's just like a high level of flavored malt beverage. Is all it is. And you want to justify it, so you say, well, I paid $24 a bottle. I'm going to show you how smart I was to do that. Yeah. Okay. But it's bourbon barrel aged. Well, you could take mango beer hug and bourbon barrel age it. Okay, enough of that. This smells like corn and oak. Corn and oak. Corn and oak. Does not smell like, there's a little rye perhaps. Doesn't smell like vanilla. Doesn't smell like walnut oil. It just smells like whiskey. But this one does too, honestly. So I was talking. So if sometimes that flavoring will go away. If you notice that, like it'll dissipate if you let the product breathe. Now it'll be in the flavor now, but it'll dissipate in the nose. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. Corn, rye, the spicy mint rye, a little breadiness, oak. Corn, rye, breadiness, oak. Corn, rye, breadiness, oak. I'm thinking 75% corn, 20% rye, 5% malted barley whiskey. Different whiskeys, either they blend them together, then age them, or they age them separately and then blend them. It's up to the company, and they both make arguments why which way is better. Now, if you get on Black Velvet website, they'll claim it's better to blend them together then age them. They call that married in the barrel. And people that make gumbo in Louisiana, which is sort of like a stew, they'll tell you that it's better after about 3 days in the fridge because it's all the ingredients is in the pot, like marinating together, the onions, the chopped tomatoes, the bell pepper, whatever they put in it, even the shrimp, if it's a seafood gumbo and the crabs, or if it's chicken and andouille gumbo, the chicken and the andouille sausage and the spices. Okay, that's what they say, and I believe it. And then you reheat it, and it's better. I mean, not to say it wasn't good the first time, it would. All right, so that's their theory. Other companies say, oh, no, you got to do it this way. And then you taste them, and it's like, well, they kind of taste the same either way, but let them battle it out. They're the ones trying to make the sale, not me. I just bought it. I'm getting a little vanilla pickup over here. Vanilla. Yeah, now it's really coming in. And the nut oil. You say, well, they can't really use almond oil. But I would be considered a flavoring, and it would be natural, wouldn't it? Think about it. Natural flavors is stuff that comes from leaves, bark, animal fat, animal musk glands. You say, oh, that sounds disgusting. Yeah, but it's still from nature. Resins, like resins that come off tree, like the oil drips and all. That's natural. Artificial is concocted in a laboratory out of chemicals. Artificial flavoring comes from a food laboratory chemicals. Some people say it's bad for you. Other people say no. I'm not a scientist. Don't ask me. I don't know. I told my friend David Sunday, preservatives might be preserving you. He said, I don't think so. Newcastle used to be a blend of an aged dark ale with a young amber ale, says Tab. I don't know that, but I agree. I believe you're probably right. You probably know a lot more about it than me. See, that's, and people say that Guinness is a blend of even a sour beer. They let the beer go sour and they blend it in with the Guinness. I've read that in a number of places they use it, but of course the company not gonna tell you, but they use a sour beer to give it kind of a weird little unique flavor, which I like the flavor now. But sour, not tart. A lot of these beers, people say, oh, it's a sour beer. Then you taste it and it's like, that's tart. And to me, tart and sour are not the same thing. And I don't understand the fascination with these sour beers because to me, they taste like Gatorade. Now, if that's your fixation, you want to drink beer that tastes like Gatorade, go ahead and do it. That's fine. But of course, Gatorade has salt in it. That's why Sequench tastes like Gatorade because they use salt in that. I don't really want to drink beer that tastes like Gatorade, to tell you the truth. And I don't see what's fascinating about it. And some people will argue, oh, tart and sour is the same thing. Really? Did you put sour cream on your burrito or did you put tart cream on your burrito? There's no way you're going to make me think that tart cream, which I don't think is real, I'm making it up, is going to taste the same as sour cream. No. That's the end of that story. Very oaky. This is what my friend David liked about this whiskey. Oak, 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 oak. Even charred oak if you want to get techno. Does it taste like bourbon? It does. I think you could take Harwood and trick people. Just play a prank on them. Say you want to drink some bourbon? It's only 80 proof. It's not a high proof. Oh, they might say, yeah, especially since it's free, No, mine. So, and then they're like, man, this is a pretty good bourbon. Where did you buy it? Oh, at Dorgnax Food Center. Oh, let me see. And then you say, psych. And they're like, Harwood, Canadian whiskey. Oh, yeah, I knew something was wrong with it. Oh, why you didn't bring it up when you were tasting it? Oh, I just didn't feel like talking about it. Yeah, Okay. Of course, you can't call it bourbon because it's from Canada, right? Even though it might be identical to bourbon. And don't tell me Canadian whiskeys have flavoring. No, they're allowed to have flavoring. They don't necessarily have flavoring. This does not taste like it's flavored. Might be food. They might be tricking me, but it doesn't taste like it. Allowed is not the same as required. Now, with bourbon, it's not allowed. It's banned. It's forbidden, I should say. Forbidden. Flavoring is forbidden in bourbon. You say, well, you had a bourbon with natural flavors on yours. I did. It was called Royal Bourbon with Natural Flavors from Heaven Hill. It's not a true bourbon. It's not classified as a bourbon. It's classified as a bourbon with natural flavors. You say, well, that's kind of like playing games. People play games, friend. Okay. And it's a game, and you are not my boss. All right, now, the winner, the clear and present winner of this contest is the Harwood. Do they make variants of Harwood? I don't know of any, but that doesn't mean anything. But they don't have it listed. If you look on Heaven Hill website, their website, they only list Harwood. That's it. 80 proof Harwood, 750 milliliter bottle, and 1,750 milliliter bottle. So they don't list any variants. But some of these things, you'd be shocked. You'd be in the store saying, well, you said no, but here's apple flavored. Yeah. So don't ever say no. But $14.99, is that the best deal I ever got on Canadian whiskey? Yeah. It is. Because I got the best flavor of any of the cheapos I bought. Now I've gotten some cheaper than this, but they can't even come close to the flavor. They get waxed, killed, obliterated, swashbuckled, and otherwise defeated. So Heaven Hill's Harwood, formerly from Seagram's, easily wins. It's not even really a challenge. Easily wins. This thing here, why did it even show up for the match? To get the check. So it's a boxing match. Showed up to get paid. He knew he was going to lose. So I'm not saying it took a dive, but the outcome is the same. Got beat, and that's why the betting line was so bad, because everybody knew they were going to lose, so you couldn't really make any money on it. All right, so there you go. Unless they would somehow win, like Buster Douglas. There might have been 10 people on planet Earth that put money on Buster Douglas in 1990. Maybe somebody put $1,000 on him. They probably rich today in the Caribbean on a yacht, thinking about how they cashed it in 35 years ago. But you're not going to usually run across those kind of shocks. And I can remember the shock of that resonating worldwide. Who will ever forget it? Got it. Got it. And I'm going to keep getting it right. So that's put me at 8 wins, 2 losses. And the next time for Wednesday, it's going to be 9-2, and 10-2, and 11-2, and 12-2, and 13-2. Holyfield beat Douglas and Tyson. Evander Holyfield. Well, Buster Douglas wasn't even a good fighter. His record was poor, and was the biggest upset in the history of sports. But he had some decent trainers, and they knew they had a weak guy they were working with, but they knew that Tyson had some weaknesses that were kind of covered up by his management team, and they knew that Tyson never went deep in any fights, and that he always took these people down in 3 rounds, but they said they're no good. He's a champ, and he knocks everybody out. I mean, because if you made contact, you're going down. You're going to go down. Kind of like George Foreman, another one. If you made a square, if you made a solid, if he hit you flush, you're down, you're out. Cassius Clay, his management knew that you cannot get hit flush, you're out. So he made sure he never got hit flush, and he just wore out. They used a good strategy. Same thing with Tyson. They knew he never goes deep in the rounds. There was a question about his stamina, considered not suspect. There was also a rumor he had a glass jaw. If you rocked him good, he's going down. So they went on that theory, we're going to take him deep into the fight. If you could somehow survive the first 3 rounds, you can make it. And then you could wear him out because his stamina is questionable, and then you can take him down. And that's what Douglas did, or we should say his management team. Now, remember, he got knocked down real early in the fight. It looked like a same old Mike Tyson joke match. Remember, he got hit and he was down, and he kind of shook it off, and everybody thought, oh, well, here we go. Same old story, another bum. The guy's got the greatest record in the world, but against nobody's, His management team admitted they did do that. They just put chumps against him to make it look good, pad the record. Sort of like a reworking of Rocky 3, but it happened in real life. Rocky was like, you just putting up bums against me. And, Mickey is like, yeah, that's right. I'm putting up bums against you because you don't need to fight. You're at the, basically you're at the top now. You don't need to be over there getting hurt and everything. Just coast along and retire, and it's fine. And then, Mr. T shows up, you know what I'm saying? But this time the bum made it, and everybody was shocked. Now, of course, they tried to ruin everything by claiming the fight was no good because the guy got a good count, like a rigged count, when he got off the mat and all of this junk. And that went on for weeks. And Buster Douglas said they ruined the best day of my life and all of this. But he got knocked cold. I mean, he was never the same after that. And like the critics would say, but he was never good anyway. Like the critics would challenge me and say, what are you talking about? He was never any good anyway. The whole thing was phony. Okay, maybe you're right. I guess you are right. All right. Anyway, but this is not going to be like that. There won't be any Buster Douglas events in this series. I think Foreman was better than Tyson. George Foreman? Well, he did win he was a gold medalist in the Olympics, so you can't discount that. Same thing with Cassius Clay. And remember, Larry Holmes, who always criticized so much, but he was a gold medalist in the Olympics. So these were people that had a lot of background. They weren't some like juvenile delinquent from the streets of New York City. You know what I'm saying? But there's not going to be any event like that. This thing here, Canadian Lake, you can expect it's going to lose every one. I'm telling you now. You say, well, I don't want to watch it then. I'm going to skip them. I wouldn't take that personally if I had no views on it, because I could understand that. But believe me, it's not going to beat anything. It's not going to beat Black Velvet, and I don't even really like Black Velvet. It's not going to beat Gibson's. That's impossible. Gibson's 12-year. Yeah, right. Sure, it's going to beat. And I don't really like Gibson's 12-year age, honestly. The finest rare. But it's not going to win. It's not going to beat McAdams. Not going to beat that, which is not even that good. It's not going to beat Crown Royal. That would be a fiasco. Wait to see that video. Crown Royal will beat it like a drum. Crown Royal, Crown Royal Reserve, the old reserve. There's a new 12-year reserve on the market these days, but that's a hopeless endeavor, as you could imagine. And then the Crown Royal Black, well, it's all gone. I'm finished with Crown Royal Black. Unfortunately, it's all gone. What a great product. And then Crown Royal bourbon mash. I still have a bottle. Don't have much left, but I have a that'll be a decimation, an exclamation, an exasperation. And it'll bring on a lot of consternation because there is no way this thing can win. Believe me, it has not won except twice when I got it confused, and it cannot win. It cannot win. Now you can put that in the bank. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later on the next live taste challenge, if one should call it a challenge, because believe me, it will not be.